Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a Sunday series between Dark and Stats. Starting with game number 1 here on Simulacrum, the latter edition. Bottom right-hand corner, it is the Red Zerg player, Dark. Wait, Simulacrum? Dang it, I always say it wrong. How did I do that? Top left, it is the Blue Protoss player, Stats. An incredible Protoss player with an incredible resume on the Wikipedia. Well, team, let's see here. TL.net. Anyway, Wikipedia for StarCraft 2. And it's a ZVP, which is my favorite matchup, and I hope you enjoy it. Hit that like button if you're excited. And let's go ahead and get right on into it here. Looks like a 16, 18, 17 here from Dark. Wouldn't get expand on the low ground from Stats. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. No cannon rushing, no proxy hatch, no pool first. Just, you know, just a nice standard macro game. And this is from Katowice 2020, the group stages Group A, which featured Deer, Dark, Stats, Special, Parting, and Has, which is one heck of a group, I gotta say. There were other ones that maybe weren't as strong, but Group A was pretty rough. I mean, Cyril wasn't in there, so that's fair. Raynor wasn't in there either. Innovation wasn't around, but still, it's just all the way around a solid, solid group. Hey, quick plug. I don't talk about this a lot, but quick plug for my lower level games. Every once in a while, I get a comment from somebody who's like, hey, you should do like a Bronze League Heroes. You should cast lobby games. And I'm like, I do. I've been casting every range of StarCraft, all the way from Bronze up to Diamond, up to Masters, up to GM, everything in between for 5 years now. Like, it's been my thing. Every week I've been doing one of these. So if you just look at the mid-rank Madness games on my channel, that is the Platinum and Diamond games that are sent to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com. Just kidding. They're sent to Sniper Monkey. But anyway, the point is... and then the Brave Noob World playlist. If that comes through, that's Bronze League Heroes, guys. Brave Noob World. I hope the name is a little bit more clear on exactly what's going on here. The old name was Into the Void, which people are like, is this a Legacy of the Void playlist or what's going on here? No, Brave Noob World is little bronze and silver and gold leaguers trying to make their way in the big world and doing some things that they need to improve. So check it out. If you're interested in me casting that stuff, it's pretty fun. You see some weird stuff in those games. People like sending me team games at the lower levels too, which I think is pretty interesting and entertaining. But anyway, if you want to see me cast lower games, I'm doing it. I just don't get a lot of views on those, and I think YouTube isn't showing them to people as much as they should, to be honest. So that is that. What are we doing, Stats? Now that you're Gateway, yep, Gateway, Stargate coming up now. Dark getting his third base down at about 230, as is tradition. Creep spreading here with the Queen. Did he actually no? So that was an inject and then a creep tumor, which Cyril does like going for the creep tumor first. Connecting his bases with creep, I think, is more of a priority for him than for a lot of other Zerg players. But you should be like Cyril, is what I'm trying to say here, and maybe get that creep tumor out first instead of injecting. But maybe for you, it's better to inject. Regardless, we do have an Oracle on Zive. The Oracle's name. If we take a look at our list of Oracle options here. No, that's the wrong account. We've got to get into the right account and lists. So this is Clickbait Thumbnails. A Protoss programmer was searching the Terran web for potential Oracle AIs. Getting distracted, the Protoss clicked on every image with a red circle on it. Realizing she was behind on her AI quotas, she downloaded the thumbnails. Oh, there's 2 of them. The thumbnails and stuff those into an Oracle. It's a small wonder that we have survived so long with so much of computer code secretly wishing to kill everything. Ha! So Clickbait Thumbnails, the name of this Oracle, which, man, you gotta do to some level. Really. I mean, I feel like if my channel was literally just this is a StarCraft game for the thumbnail and it was just like white on black text, I'm not sure I'd get many views. Maybe I would. Maybe you guys would be really interested to see what kind of a StarCraft game it was. But at the same time... I think you guys like knowing if it's Legacy of the Void or if it's Brood War and what players are involved and things like that. So that's what we roll with. 3 Oracle opening here from Stats. That is harder to deal with for the Zerg. You're going to want 2 queens and a spore, or 2 spores and a queen, one of those things. And here we go. Just do. We're going to take out a couple drones. No big deal. None of the Oracles die there. Good target firing there from Dark, though. Making sure that one of the Oracles is getting hit there entirely, and the other one is not. Creep Tumor down. They're actually proposing a change with Creep Tumors, making them... what is it? Armored? Making them light? I think making them light, so Adepts have an easier time killing them. I don't know. I saw this argument as part of this change that Protoss feel like they need their entire army to clear creep, and I'm like, what, really? Like, you can't just send a couple of adepts out and murder a couple of creep tumors and call it a day? I don't understand quite what that is. Anyways, oh yeah, 3 queens and a spore. That's enough. Definitely enough to get rid of those oracles. Third base is well protected now. Dark's up at 55 workers here. Stats is getting a third base because he's a monster. Just killing it on the macro right now. Just so many things happening at the same time. Getting Twilight Council and a Forge. He has all sorts of decisions he's making in his head right now. Zergling's cruising across. Maybe try to take down that third base. But the Adept Shield Battery Oracle Sentry combo should be enough to cause problems. Fourth base getting hammered a little bit by the Oracles. But no, the Queens chase them away. Main base has exactly 0 Queens present. So maybe you go in. Maybe you lead with the Oracle that has all the HP. Like this one. All of the HP. All 160 are present. But no, just 2 drones down. So some decent harassment thus far from the Protoss player against the Zerg player, but not really doing a lot. I think Dark is in a pretty fantastic position with his 4th base coming up. Zerglings trying to see if there's anything they can accomplish. They can maybe try to get through this wall, as there's really only a single stalker here. That's going to force a warp in, or at least some of these units are going to come to respond to it. And yeah, so that's a warp in of a Zealot and a Sentry, and the Lings get the heck on out of there. Oracles down here. Did one go in and die? Yes, one of the Oracles went in and died. That was probably clickbait thumbnails if I had to guess. Did he just... Wow, he just slow walked Banelings in there. Got a hit, but because they didn't have +2, it didn't kill any of them. It just brought them down to like 1 HP, and then the shield battery healed them all up. That's hilarious. This Baneling's like, I won't kill everyone. No, says shield battery. I'll not allow it. I shall heal all of the damage from these slow Banelings. So good attempt, I guess, but that didn't really pay off very well for Dark at all. 1,000 resources lost for him, 3,000 lost, or 300 rather, lost for Dark. Part of it, I mean, the big part of it was that force field that came up from Stats, really shutting that down. And this wall down here, I think the Banelings wanted to sneak up along that left side, but instead, no. They were not allowed to because there are huge buildings here. These Oracles still, yeah, just being very patient. Just 7 kills on that Oracle, 3 kills on that Oracle. Just doing what you can to whittle down Dark's economy a little bit. I mean, they have killed 10 drones today. No probes have died. So far, I think Stats is going to be ahead on that front for sure. And is it just really an Adept... Okay, Adept Archon Sentry attack right now with Immortals. Okay, Immortals are in production. Storm is coming in here too from Stats. Centrifugal Hooks finishing up from Dark. Got a Spine Crawler here. Got a bunch of Hydras and Banelings and Lings. Okay, so this is what you want. You really don't want Roaches versus an Immortal composition by any stretch. Where did they go home? Where are they? Oh, so the Archons are up here. But it turns out that Queens and Hydras are pretty good at shutting those suckers down. Big attack coming into Stats' 4th. No. The Lings decide to head on out of there. Yeah, I like the Spine against these Archons. I really think it's pretty fantastic. So Dark gets his 4th base up with a little bit of Archon harass at 8 minutes, mind you. Oh, the Hydra DPS against Archons is just insane, though. And they can snipe down the War Prism, too. Brutal stuff here. +2 attack coming in from Dark, so those Banelings will one-shot probes when he's done with that. Zerglings kind of just sharking around, trying to stay on creep as well as they can here. They snipe off an Observer. Well, technically, the Hydralisks do that, but the Lings were present and providing moral support. 26 Lings in production. Dark is feeling like there's a bit of a window here where we can get something done. Zealots with charge coming down this left side. They do have +1 attack, but that's a lot of Lings, and that's a recall. But, God, several of those Zealots went down. That is 5 of the Zealots died there without really doing much of anything at all. Storm, though, pretty good against Lings and Banes. Banelings crashing into Archons is not great control here from Dark. Good force fields, though, from Stats, keeping most of the army out. The Banelings just want to crash on anything they can. Hot diggity. Changeling here from Dark, just, you know, I am a Zealot. Don't mind me. I guess there's a Zealot in that composition from Stats, though, so that's not too bad. So Dark is starting to swarm a bit. Did he lose both his Archons over here? I feel like he did. So that War Prism has nothing in it. And no, Archons have not died. Huh. So Ling Hydra coming on in with the Banelings, trying to take down this base. Storming his own mineral line a bit. Means some probes are probably going to die, although the shield battery is working overtime right there. Hydra is trying to snipe the Archons from distance, trying to do the same thing to the Immortals, but the storms continue to come from Stats. More storm coming in on top of the Banelings, and it looks like Stats is going to hold here. He has just enough to hold. 6 kill Immortal, 11 kill Immortal, and Dark is forced to come back home a little bit. Not enjoying that at all. Turns out. Stasis Sword. Loving that from Stats here. Some Banelings getting canceled. Zealots taking their lives into their own hands there. Creep Tumors getting sniped. And the creep is getting pushed back here. Dark taking a 5th base in the meantime. He put a lot of eggs into that attack basket. Did not go well for him. He's now lost 10,000 resources to the 5,000 of Stats. The income tab is definitely favoring Stats right now. It's been favoring Dark, but after this base has come up and after another base is coming up for Stats, his own 6th base up at the top. This is looking pretty good for your Protoss player. He's got his charge lots. They're killing tumors. Got a few High Templar with a decent amount of energy on them too. Zealots coming to all different sorts of bases. And Dark is trying to defend them from all different angles here too. The attack coming in the front. The Zealots. Go Zealots. Oh no, we're distracted by what's happening down here. So Storm on the Queens. The Hydra is not really part of the battle. Now they're starting to show up, and maybe they're just Storm dodging. Ling's trying to prevent a retreat. These Zealots though, there was a window. There was a window. The Zealots could have gotten a bunch of stuff done, but instead Stats' attention was down here to the south. He is winning this engagement, though, and I think this hatchery is going to go down, storming all of these drones. Holy smokes, goodbye. Hatchery going down. Archons on top of the Hydralisks. If they can hit them, the Archons are not bad against the Hydras, and that's your good game. Stats ends up taking game number 1 of our best of 3 here. Looking good doing it, too. 17,000 resources lost for the Zerg. 9,400 lost for Stats. Only lost 41 Zealots, 3 Adepts. No High Templars died, which is massive, and 7 Archons with 0 Immortal deaths here today. Meanwhile, 30 drones, a hatchery, 27 Hydralisks, 50 Banelings. Just the losses are coming and coming here for Dark. So where are my Immortals? 19, 17, 19, and 13 kills. Immortal, good unit. Even if your opponent is going Hydra, Ling, Bane, they're still killing stuff. Not as efficiently if it was like Roaches or Ultralisks or something, but still. Immortal, good stuff there. So nice attack. So it was the hold, right? The hold at the 4th base. Was I counting wrong? That was the 5th, whatever. The hold at the 4th base and then the counterattack push with the Zealots coming in. This could have been a lot more damaging, but he won the game anyway, so how much complaining do you want me to do? And then, yeah, just beautiful storms. They kept coming. I don't think Dark was expecting that much Psionic Storm, and it was just never ending there. The Immortals, the Archons doing a ton of work. Not much by way of anything else left here for Stats. A couple Zealots. But this many Archons and this many Immortals are going to be enough when you have exactly 6 Hydralisks and 6 Hydras and 9 Zerglings on the field. So that's game 1. Let's move on into game number 2 here. Should be an excellent one. Looking forward to that. Hit that like button if you're enjoying this, and we'll be right back. We're on Eternal Empire. Bottom left, Dark. Top right, Stats. So good game number 1 there. I went back and watched the final engagement, and I kind of feel like Dark's Baning control was a little bit off because it kept exploding on Archons and Immortals, which doesn't really help the Zerg's cause. But there weren't exactly any other targets for them. There were not a lot of Zealots, not a lot of High Templar in the front there. But maybe if he had saved the Banelings and made them attack from the back and hit those High Templar, then maybe the Hydras would have been enough there. But I don't know. That was a lot of our Archon and Immortal from Stats. Let me tell you what. So anyway, game number 2 here. It is a best of 3. Things are okay. Eternal Empire is kind of a weird map to wall off if you're Protoss or Terran. Zerg does not care about this at all. Because, yeah, you have this ramp to deal with and a big wide open area over this way. You kind of just wall, chop, chop, chop. And then expand over to this for your 3rd base. Up high ground to defend is really nice on this map, too. It really makes Zerg less... they're less interested in attacking you directly when they have to attack up a ramp, especially through a choke, or up this ramp either. They'll usually come from this area, even though this is pretty narrow. And that's pretty much what you have to watch out for. So we'll see what Dark's up to, what shenanigans he has in mind here today. Missed a click when I was changing that back a second ago. Anywho, have you heard of the Falcon Paladin Hour? It is a weekly podcast featuring myself and Samacron. We talk about TV shows, movies, books, and other video games that are coming up, like The Last of Us 2. Very interested in that one. We've been playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Well, Somicron has. I've been playing original Final Fantasy VII on Steam from the 2015 release, which has been a ton of fun out on twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. If you want to see Falcon play other stuff other than StarCraft, Twitch is generally the place to be, though I do play StarCraft out there as well. So if you're not a Twitch person, totally get it. But if you are a Twitch person and you're like, oh, I didn't know Falcon was on Twitch, twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. Pretty easy to find, it turns out. Pretty easy peasy. There's that third base at sub 2. Yeah, Dark likes doing this. He will get this third base before his pool is done, which means it delays his queen. This queen comes up on time, which is the one that really matters. But the natural or the main base queen doesn't happen. The speed doesn't happen for a minute. But I kind of like it. It gets his third base up very, very fast, and there's not much the Protoss player can do about it, to be honest. The Adept will come in, but it's not going to kill a hatchery. And as long as Stats is going for the 1-gate expand, his hands are completely tied. So I should start doing this in my games. Honestly, what's my opponent going to do to me? Nothing. That's what. Too busy making probes. Probes can't kill my third base, at least not directly. So Adept cruising on over, trying to see what's what. The probe did check the timing on that third base for Dark and said, yes, that's very early. So, see, this queen isn't even here yet for Dark inside the main base. It's very late. But arrive it does. Is he not getting speed? Hey, Dark, you're going to get metabolic boost? I don't know that he... Oh, there it is. Got started. Okay, just enough to make me worried. Adept comes in, says no lair timing, no roach warren that I could see. That's fantastic. Great news for me. But Dark is really droning up hard at the moment. He's at 29 workers to 31 for stats, but that's because Dark's workers have to turn themselves into buildings and completely sacrifice themselves from gathering resources. So that's why he's down, but he should be able to catch back up here in just about a minute or so. Oracle on the way. Actually, that is the end of my Oracle list. I need to go back onto the comments section and find more Oracle names, but this Oracle's name is going to be Bubsy. Bubsy the Oracle. The beloved question mark icon of 1990s video game technology, Bubsy, was returned to the present. He thought that maybe the people loved him and wanted a remake, but instead they just stuffed him into an Oracle and said, go kill those bugs down there. And he has to command. He has to obey that command. Another Oracle here too. So Stats liking this Oracle opening. This multiple Oracle opening anyway. Zergling coming up the left side saying, hello, female Carrick. How are things today for you? And the answer is same as always. There's really not much food on this platform. I guess there are some plants I can eat and like little tree things I can nibble on, I guess. If you're into that sort of thing. But the Overlord sees the Oracles coming. Dark's main base has a couple queens. No spores in the main base, though. Ooh, is he skimping out a little bit? He does have a spore at the third. The Oracle's just kind of trying to make you wonder where they're headed. And, oh gosh. All right, this is fantastic queen positioning out of Dark today. He really has been ready for this here in game 2. And that does not bode well for Stats, I can tell you what. He's getting his third base, though. Roach Warren on the way here from Dark. Okay. This could be kind of a Roach Ravager style attack here, but he is droning up on his third base pretty effectively. 3 Oracles coming into the natural base. There's really only one queen and a spore there for a second, but a little bit gun shy there is Stats. Didn't want to risk his Oracles in there at all. Zergling says, yes, the third base exists. Excellent, excellent information to be gathered. What's your follow-up going to be here, Stats? Getting a third base? Obviously, yes. Is Dark going to get a fourth is the question of the day. Triple Oracle coming in, and they do get a drone kill. And the 2 drone kills, and 3 drone kills, and 4 and 5. There we go. That is some effective Oracle control there from Stats and Bubsy. But 6 more drones on the way to replace the losses here from Dark. Really oversaturating the natural base, but that's so he can main it over to the third base. No problem whatsoever there. Infestation Pit coming in. Oh, is this Swarm Host Nidus? I feel like this might be Swarm Host Nidus, y'all. Although Glior Reconstitution is coming up. I guess you do want some Roaches and Ravagers to kind of support the Swarm Hosts and the Nidus Swarm eruption process. Oracle sneaking back on in to get more worker kills. 1 Oracle does get sniped off by a queen. One of you has a kill. Is it you? Did the Spore get the kill? Oh, the Spore Crawler got the kill. Never mind. I was wrong about that. And there's your Nidus network. All right, man. It's going to take everything you have, Stats, to hold this. We have, maybe it's a spoiler alert. We have seen an elite Protoss player hold a Swarmhost Nidus play from an elite Zerg player recently. I believe it was out on Patreon, though. Patreon.com/Falcon Paladin. That's been up for a little bit. So if you want some earlier casts from me, stuff that posts a whole month before it posts on YouTube, Falcon Paladin over on Patreon.com for at least $1 a month gives you access to that stuff. So Warp Prism coming in here from stats, and with the Archon's going to go for that harass. I'm not sure. I don't think he knows about this.
Glorious
oh, no, he does.
is upon us.
He knows. So he's going to try. Ah, he found the Nidus. This is so good. If you could shut down that first Nidus, it kind of snowballs into your favor as Protoss a little bit. He's just keeping the vision up. He's trying to kill any Zerglings or Overlords that he can find that are providing vision for these Niduses, because you have to have the vision. Can he find this one in time? The Carrick's like, grah, grah, over here. And the Warp Prism does see it. Comes down, and no, it finished. It finished, but can you kill the... Oh, both Archons were hitting it, maybe. Oh, but getting them to unload right here is actually fine. Look at these Warp Prism shuttlings here from stats, too. This is so good. Is he going to lose anything to these guys? Maybe a Sentry. Yeah, so he loses a Sentry, and that's it. That is some really good play from stats. Another one coming up. Oracle's burning that down. Yeah, your entire job really becomes finding Nidus Swarms as they're erupting and killing them. So stats thus far has done a fantastic job here. Oh no, the front door was open. Lings came into the natural base. They're going after the probes. Roach is just kind of wandering in here too. Artosis Pylon depowering 2 Warp Gates, Cybercore, and a Robo. Oh, that's brutal. The Lings get inside the house. He was doing so well. He was doing so well until the Lings got in. His front door, he never quite shut it. The Swarm hosts are ready to rock and get back inside that Nidus. They're fighting directly against the Archons. An Archon does go down. Zealot's getting hammered, and that's your good game. Dark takes game number 2 with the Swarm host Nidus. And I gotta say, I just feel like this was it right here. If the Lings hadn't gotten inside the natural base and inside the main base, and so many probes gotten massacred there. Okay, only 4, but it felt like a lot. And his attention could have just been entirely on killing Nidus Swarms. I think he would have found this one and killed it and then been in a fine position. He could have dealt with this one as well. That Nidus Swarm is just now erupting, ready to just throw Swarm hosts all over the place. But that is how thin an edge it is as a Protoss player when you're going against a Zerg player who is using this strategy. It's just incredibly, incredibly thin. You got to do everything perfectly, and you can do it. You can beat it. But you got to find all the Nidus Swarms, and you can't be distracted by anything else. You really can't. I don't think you have the APM to be dealing with Lings inside 2 of your bases and trying to find all the Nidus Swarms that are erupting all over the place. Just mean. So very, very mean. All right. So that right there, that is game 2. Dark gets himself on the board here. That moves us to an all-important game at number 3 of this best of 3 from the group stages of Katowice. Let's go ahead and check it out. Stick with it. We shall return. We're at game 3 here on Nightshade, the ladder edition. The top left is stats, and the bottom right is Dark. All right, man. Feels like whenever Zerg needs a win, he just pulls out the Swarm host Nidus. And Protoss really, really struggles with it. It's not a guaranteed win, but it is a high percentage strategy against Protoss. That is for sure. Nidus Swarms against Terran. I think it's been a while since I've seen a Nidus Lurker strategy used against Terran. And both times I've casted it once, so... Maybe Zergs just figure that Banelings are very, very good and you don't need a Nidus Swarm because they're fast. Anyway, 16, 18, 17 here from Dark. One yet expand here from Stats. And a probe coming across to see what is what over on this side of the map. I'd love to see a cannon rush. Obviously, it's not a very high percentage strategy or else Stats would be doing it in one of these games, but it's just fun. It's an intense situation, right? It's early on. Craziness is happening. Pylons are coming up. The Zerg player has to react to it perfectly or else bad things happen to him. And it doesn't seem like Zerg players just have a little bit more leeway and some more tools to handle that kind of a thing than Protoss have against the Swarm host and the Nidus. Ya know? Don't ya know? 1 gate expand, recognizing the pool is nowhere close to being done, unless this is some kind of a crazy drone rush out of Dark, which the probe is going to see anyway. So if a probe comes across at like the 1 minute mark, there's nothing the Zerg player can do to kill him at that point. There's really not. That's why you probe scout, right? The 12 pool gets scouted. The drone rush gets scouted. The 13-12 lair at 130 gets scouted and prepared for. So this is really nice. I kind of wish Zerg players could do this a little bit more. Again, it hurts them economically. I understand that. But it's just weird that Protoss can afford to lose a probe for like 4 minutes of mining time early in the game and it doesn't hurt them. But if a drone does the same thing, it crushes them mid-game for some reason. I guess there's just more economic leeway for the Protoss, right? They never lose any probes, whereas the Zerg is constantly losing probes. Losing drones. That's probably part of it if we're looking at the math. Anyway, it's another Stargate opening here from Stats. What else are you gonna do? If you don't open Stargate, your opponent's gonna go mass Mutalisk on your face and crush you is what the problem is. Warp Gate getting started there as well. Stats kind of on autopilot right now. Trying to see what he can do. I think he was probably planning on doing pretty much the same thing in game number 2 as he did in game number 1, but the Swarm Host kind of ruined that whole thing. And maybe he'll go back to it. Maybe he'll just go back to the well. He was able to beat Dark with it once here today. And if Dark goes for the Lingbane Hydra in response to it again, I feel like Stats has a pretty decent shot. So Adept comes in, checks the lair timing. Nothing to worry about there. Third base coming in with the Queen. And a Stalker to get rid of this Overlord. Dark, get your Overlord out of there. It's going to die. I mean, there's probably no saving it, to be honest, because there's an Oracle on the way to spot the high ground for that Stalker. And there's nowhere the Overlord can go. I understand you're trying to go here. I get it. Oh, you're invisible. Holy smokes. Double Adept. I don't think you want to finish that transfer. There's a bunch of Lings here and a Queen. No. Does not want to. So you are functionally invisible. Congratulations. Until right... Oh! The Oracle is not bringing the assist here today. Maybe this one will... Oh, is he... Ooh, Stats was supply blocked for just a second there. That's never good news. That is, in fact, bad news, Bears. So again, double Oracle. Going to be to at least 3 from the Protoss player. Queens. All right, down to 25 HP. Did you kill any drones at all? One drone went down. Maybe not really worth. Didn't really pay for itself there, did it? No, I don't believe it did. Lair timing here from Dark. We gotta watch this. We gotta watch that tech here from Dark. He is capable of being very sneaky. Yeah, so there's the Oracle spotting the high ground for the Oracle, or for the Overlord to kill it. And the Stalker's going to finish it off. It did end up scouting a robotics facility, but I mean, surprise? Like, what else did you think was going to happen here exactly? Third Oracle in production. And Stats moving out with some Adepts and a couple Oracles. If Dark doesn't have Army, which he does, he's got a handful of Lings. He's got a few Queens. The Adepts really don't... Yeah, I mean... It was a good number of Adepts, and really not that many Zerglings, but the problem is the surround, and then the Queens come and shoot you from a distance, and that's just horrible. It's a horrible, horrible experience. Third base coming up, scouted perfectly by Dark. Timing is impeccable there from Stats. Again, recognizing there's not much the Zerg player can do. He doesn't have Roaches. He doesn't have Ravagers. He just has a handful of Zerglings. It looks like he wants to go for an early fourth base. And as a result, Stats is okay hanging on to his third right now. Oracle's cruising in. 3 of them, but 2 Queens and a Spore. Pretty scary stuff. 3 Queens and a Spore down at the third base. One of the Oracles gets picked off there, too, just off screen. But only a Spore here at the natural, so the drones have to pull off. Some lost mining time is there, and a couple drones go down. Exactly 2. And let the Immortal production begin here. So we're going for Immortals and... Charge lots and +1 attack for everybody because they all benefit from that ground upgrade, which is really, really nice for them. Creep spread, pretty fantastic out of Dark. It is really looking good. Maybe working up this right path a little bit would be nice, but yeah, that center path, that's a good distance the Protoss has to walk if they want to get over here and start killing your stuff. Oh, Spore hits. Oof, one more Spore hit, and I think the Oracle would have died there. Templar Archives on the way from Stats. He's going to want that Storm. So, yeah, we're pretty much doing the same thing we did in game number 1. We'll see how Dark handles it with his Roaches. He is getting a Spire today, though, and some Ravagers. So Roach Ravager are going to come up and maybe try to get that third base, knock it down, and effectively win the game. Wings are like, is the front door open again? If only we should be so lucky. Oracle getting on out with 3 kills. I'm going to actually scout this coming, which is beautiful. It's really important you scout this coming. And here we go. Roach Ravager, Crucibles landing on the force fields as they wanted to do there. Aggressive attack happening. The Immortals kind of worth their weight in gold here versus these Roaches, though. And not actually, there you go, taking some direct hits, but not as much. The Immortals standing in, doing wonderfully in this situation. One of them does get focused down and wrecked. The other one has 7 kills. This guy's got 3 right now, and I don't know if there's enough here from Dark to actually sustain this attack any further. And he does force himself to retreat there, or rather, he's forced to retreat by stats. The Roach Ravager attack not really working out that well because there were 3 Immortals in the group there from stats. He's got it. He's got it taken care of. Southern base from Dark. 4th base up and running. 7 mutas in production, though. Oh, 8 mutas in production, though. The follow-up here, the follow-up here is going to be intense for stats. Let's see if he can hold it. He's not making Phoenix. He does not know this is happening. He doesn't, nobody expects the Spire at 7 minutes, apparently. 10 mutas on the way. And, I mean, yes, it was a Stargate opening, but it was effectively a Robo opening, considering how many Robo units are here now. Man, there are not many Stalkers. There's 1 Archon in the mix, which is pretty good against mutas, especially if they're stacking. Does he production tab? No, still no Phoenix. And the Mutalisks are going to arrive, happy as clams, to a completely undefended probe line. We'll kill a whole bunch of probes. See how that goes. 9 probes, 10 probes, 13 probes, 14 probes, 16, 17, 18 probes down. Stats pushing in with the Zealots and the Stalkers and the Archons. Crucibles landing, maybe catching a sentry there. I don't know. Trying to maybe take down the Warp Prism. Getting the Warp Prism is so good. And the Oracle, too. So no instant reinforcements. No juggling for you stats either. Is he seriously not? He's not making Phoenix. He's just like, we're good. We can handle this with cannons and shield batteries. And he's not entirely wrong about that. Ow, 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 ow. Does the main base have any of those? No, absolutely not. Probes are forced to evacuate from the main base. There's no anti-air for them whatsoever. Or anti-ground, for that matter. Trying to take down this base. Nope, not allowed. Crucibles taking down those force fields. Roach Ravager trying to handle this. Muta's getting into the natural, where again, there might have been a cannon there, but 1 cannon is not going to be enough. New Warp Prism sniped. That's some brutal stuff on the other end of the map. Stats continuing to push on this hatchery, getting shots on it as much as he can. Depowering a couple warp gates there with that pylon destruction. Crucibles landing all over the place. Is there just enough Zerg here to handle this ground army? Immortal or not, 15 kills or not. Zealots coming into the top side to reinforce or not. Is he going to get the hatch? I think if the Immortals just focus the hatch right now, does it really matter? I don't know if it actually matters or not. Roach is coming out of that hatchery, just getting absolutely crushed. But the Ravagers are a bigger problem as one of the Immortals gets focused. The other one gets focused with 26 kills. Is somehow still alive, but now it's dead. Stat's ability to reinforce here is not good, as all his warp gates are out, as his Warp Prism is gone. And that's your good game. Dark wins it in 10 minutes and 17 seconds with the surprise Mutalisks. What is with surprise Mutalisks recently, honestly, on the channel? That's crazy. That is a crazy thing. That is, he made 10 mutas, lost 1 of them, and was able to catch stats entirely by surprise. No cannons, no Phoenix, no nothing. 6 kills on that Mutalisk. 4 there. 2, 6 there. 3 there. Really paying for themselves effectively. Shutting down all the mining in the main base. Shutting down the mining in the natural base to a certain extent. And then depowering warp gates everywhere. And getting 2 warp prisms. That was huge. Getting 2 warp prisms was massive for those Mutalisks. If they're not there, this is a much harder hold, I think, for Dark. But at the end of the day, the Ravagers did their thing. 9 kills on that Ravager. This, what is exploding over here? It's like if I click on it, it says it's a Ravager, but is it just, I don't know what that is. Stalker, remaining Stalker with 4 kills to his name. Cold is the void, indeed. All right, well, really fantastic, fun little best of 3 there, I thought. I had a good time with it. Stats won the first game, which is a lot of fun. Dark comes back and wins the next 2. Does end up taking the win here in this best of 3, but, Stats, I think, acquitted himself very well. Very impressed by him in all of these games, to be honest, although the surprise Mutalisk is the death of elite players recently. Did he ever he never scouted the Spire. Obviously, once the Mutas showed up, he didn't need to see the Spire. He knew there were Mutas. But generally what happens is the Protoss player scouts the Spire, and then he just fires up like 5 Phoenix, and all these Mutas are impotent. But if they can be allowed to do their thing, they're incredibly dangerous, as we saw here today. So, wow, that is going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a Sunday series. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.